All right, man. With that being said, we can slide on to the next story of this episode, man. Let's talk about Xbox. Let's talk about a specific area of Xbox. Let's talk about a part of Xbox that Wen has likely wanted to die for some time now. Let's talk about 343, or formerly known as 343, because they have changed their name and their direction and their mission and a lot of their makeup and structure to be named Halo Studios. 343 Industries is now rebranded as Halo Studios. Again, they've noted a huge community, just like developer studio update that they dropped over this past week. The studio's growing, they're hiring, they've changed a lot of their leadership over the past few months, and they seem like this is a big juncture point to kind of announce their reemergence and new direction and new path. Again, big things here. The big notes that the next Halo games will be in Unreal Engine 5. They've switched from their prior engine and they're going to UE5. They showed off some gameplay, some of the design, some of the looks. There is kind of a research project that they did, like Project Foundry, I believe they titled it, to look at that. And they're just saying, hey, listen, the next Halo game is coming. We are on a new path, and again, a lot of that resides within Unreal Engine 5. When Halo continuing on, Halo and Unreal Engine, the new direction, Halo Studios, what do you think?
Sure. I don't really, I mean, like, sure. I just like, I'm not going to discount them. I don't want to say that they're going to, it doesn't matter what happens. I'm not a hater. I want Halo to be good because I think Infinite had a lot of potential. It just wasn't ready for the kind of like, being an online shooter is difficult. That's the most, their biggest hurdle, right? It's as much as it's easy to shit on Overwatch, like, no, it still sucks. Overwatch sucks. I want to say Fortnite. It's as hard as it is to, as easy it is to shit on Fortnite, you gotta commend them for having content out the wazoo every single time you get back on that game. Every time you get back on the game, there's something to do. Like, you always have something to unlock or something to buy. And that, I think, was the biggest problem with Halo, is that their battle pass felt like a grind. And like, when I say grind, I don't mean like a regular, like, you know,
they made it super grind.
That shit was like, it felt like beating a fucking RPG to get to another fucking tier list. That's what it felt like. It took you forever. And then when you unlocked it, it's like, yo, bro, here's this orangish looking skin for a gun. And I'm like, oh, cool. Now I get to go back to fucking work. And I think the game is really, really fun. It was just missing that aspect of being a free-to-play shooter. Is like, you want to make this game not feel like a job so that people will play it like it's their job. That being said, I hope for the best for them, truly. Like, I really do hope they shape up to deliver, because I think they really can. And I think with the backing of Xbox, and maybe Xbox is now more refocused, because another thing too is that I feel like Infinite dropped at one of the worst times to be an Xbox title, because you have so much shit going on in the Xbox side, right? You had them trying to buy Blizzard, and all that legal back and forth, fucking Starfield. Like, right now I feel like the lane is pretty open. Like, sure, Blizzard may be trying to like take some attention from them. It's like, because that's the only other like multiplayer game I could think that would be like, we need daddy Xbox's help. But honestly, I think they should focus on Halo. I think the Overwatch fans will be fine with the same guard for right now. And I know the Overwatch fans don't want to hear that, but like, y'all not gonna stop playing this game anytime soon. So let's be real. Let's give Halo some attention real quick, because once Halo gets off the ground, like once Halo gets off the ground, it's not going to need as much as attention as Overwatch is going to need. Let's call a spade a spade. Overwatch needs like crazy levels of attention if we really want to fix what the game is right now.
On me, honestly. You know what? For being a, you know what I'm saying, a routine Halo killer supporter, you know what I'm saying, that was a pretty solid response. I'm clapping up for you.
Yeah, because I don't want Halo to die, because I do think there's a place for Halo. Like, I love Splitgate, and I think that Halo could give me the Splitgate the Splitgate feeling, because it is what fucking Splitgate is based off of, without me having to learn the crazy map text that Splitgate had, right? Like, I think there is a space for Halo, but I think that it's just not. I think it's not. I don't know. Like, I think at its core, Infinite was great, but the content wasn't great. And I know that Infinite is way better now, is what I hear. So I definitely want to re-tap into that, because I'm not opposed to playing another shooter. But at the time, it's just like, when you had all of my attention, it just wasn't enough. And like I remember trying to get my girlfriend to play it, and like and for some, like the optimization wasn't necessarily the best on PC either. And I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like my girlfriend's PC was a fucking monster that it is now, but at the time, like Master Chief didn't have thighs. I don't know why, but like Master Chief had no thighs on that shit. It was just legs. It was just feet and fucking I can't remember what, but it was just so funny because I'm like, this is such a random fucking problem that you have with this game.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, again, Halo Infinite is now in apparently a profitable state. Apparently it's in a really healthy place. The content is there. They've made the tweaks, especially with the progression, with things like that. It came a little bit too late, too late in terms of market reception, because consumers are going to be, again, it's like what's the name of that shit from Gears of War that General Rom had around him? I can't remember. Like the
asking the worst guy for anything Xbox related.
No, that's fair. That's fair. I completely forget, but I think it's Krill. I don't know. Anyways, that thing, like, it was the worst time. Consumers are ravenous, and they're gonna consume content at a massive pace. And if you can't sustain them with a quality gameplay loop and content that can hold them over for a certain amount of time to build that rapport and build that loyalty, especially in this new age where, again, people are coming in like they don't owe nobody shit. They don't want to give no time for nothing because almost everything is a free experience, so they can just move on to the next shit. There's much less room for time and I'm saying missteps and stuff like that in this level of gaming than we've seen for a long time, so possibly ever. But yeah, the gameplay was there from the rip. Halo Infinite, the gameplay was there, it's just the content wasn't. And with that, they've had their their look back, their flaws, their failings of what the direction should be. And I think this whole statement about, again, them becoming Halo Studios and them setting off on a new path, I think this was the right statement to make. Let's get one thing straight. Xbox will never abandon Halo. They'll never do that shit. They'll never do it. And in my opinion, they shouldn't do it. It's one of the most recognizable names in gaming. Again, the TV show was the TV show, but the fact that they even have a TV show that had 2 seasons, even though the man took his mask off in episode like 1 or 2, the fact that they could do that shows the weight of this IP and this franchise in the entertainment world, in the gaming world, so on and so forth. So they're not going to stop. Get them having a reflective, restorative, reforming look at what Halo is supposed to be and how they want to create it. That is the best possible news that we could have gotten. Like, yo, listen, the people that were here that were kind of messing all this shit up and they weren't taking it in the direction that we wanted, they're gone. We have new faces, we have other people, we have teams that are, again, like reshaped and realigned on a goal. We're all on the same front, really pulling towards something that we think can make something happen, make something really shake for the franchise. Good. Unreal Engine 5, the Switch, this might be a very, very welcome change because of the constraints of graphical quality. I think one of the things that people were pointing out, people like Paris Lily and stuff like that, was how Halo was a technical, it was a technical standard. It was a technical standard of its time, and they kind of set the pace in a lot of ways for what technical quality was, for what the latest and greatest looked like in a game. I'm not the most in love with that concept, especially nowadays, because I want to just see great gameplay loops or just the great art that's there without the pure physical attributes and pure fidelity, like oh, next to realism or next to blah blah blah. I'm not as supportive in that boat, but for Halo and for that being one of their principles of pushing the bounds of what it means to be have graphical quality and have that sharpness and bring things to the next level in terms of that graphical display and what they push out in their execution. I think that's a good pillar to have, because I think that holds pretty consistent with the history and what they've been able to do. The one thing with the new direction, this new change, the gameplay is going to be a huge juncture. And I was talking with, again, the third wheel of this the podcast, man. Shout out to Kai, shout out to King. Talking with him the other day, and we were just going back and forth talking about Halo because we saw this news come up, and we were just like, the gameplay loop is a big point of contention. And he was telling me, at this day and age, people just want movement. The kids just want movement and all this, that, and the fourth. Go on a zip line and do, like, you know what I'm saying, all this other crazy. They want Titanfall on crack and all this stuff. And to an extent, I understand. But now this comes in a bit of conflict with what Halo is. Again, it's arena shooter to the core. It's a bit slower paced. It's gotten much faster over the years. Again, it has its own sprints and grapple hooks and stuff like that, which I think it's a good thing. But will the future of Halo mix or conflict with the future desires of what the consumer base will accept? You know what I'm saying? That's a harder question to answer for them, and I think that's probably one of their biggest questions as they move in this new direction. Will the kind of the base, the DNA of Halo, which is that more arena style, a bit more slower, a bit more methodical approach to what the gameplay speed and flow is, will that be accepted and championed in this day and age, or in the future whenever this game drops? And that's the question they got to answer for themselves. I think personally, just me, I think this arena style still has value. It still has merit. It still has a lot of viability and fun and enjoyment that everybody can get into, because I mean, everything has their cycles, everything has their flow. In my opinion, again, the super movement games, like the Apexes, the Titanfalls, all that stuff like that, they have their spot, and I think they are dominating the overarching, they're dominating the shooter space at large, as it were, right now. That's cool. I like them all playing when I want to, you know what I'm saying, do that. You see all Black Ops trying to come out with, again, doing the Omni movement stuff and all that and all things like that. Movement is the big thing right now. Do they infuse a bit of that into more of their formula? I don't know. We'll see. But I think personally they shouldn't stray too far away from what makes Halo, because I still think that arena style, that movement, that flow has more viability. Maybe it's finding a happy middle ground. I don't know. But me personally, I don't think they have to stray too far in terms of the gameplay loop. They just have to make the content there. My biggest gripe, again, is making sure the content is there. Their pillar, and I think they know this just as much as we all know this, the community and how they fostered community is their biggest strength. To me, Halo's biggest strength is how they brought community together throughout their history, how it's been built organically, how they supported it, all that jazz. That's their biggest asset. Before Halo, I mean, not before Halo, before Fortnite, before any creative stuff, before Minecraft and stuff that blew up, and it was Forge. Forge was one of these things. It was Gary's Mod and Forge, community creations. You know what I'm saying? At least two of the biggest players that I've seen in my time, those were the biggest pillars. Halo Forge was a part of that spirit of community building, and it went so far as to say the recognition from the devs helped, again, build this mutual relationship where, again, the communities fed off of, the feedback and the recognition they get from the devs, and the devs are getting new content that they can push in certain regards and platform, and that adds so much life cycle to their game. You saw how detrimental it was to Halo Infinite to not have this game on, and not have Halo Infinite or Forge, community creations. Again, my personal favorite, I ain't had no damn Griff Ball on this shit at launch, and I was mad because I was like, yo, okay, it's been like 3 weeks, where's Griff Ball go? Like, let's switch it up a little bit. Having that foundation of community from the rip is absolutely key for whatever they drop next, whatever they do. Gameplay, the direction, if the next Master Chief got like thick hips like Shakira and shit like that, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? If his hips don't lie, all that stuff, cool. But if you don't have the foundation and the experience of this next Halo with the community, if they're not tied, if they're not hand and fist together, then that's a misstep. Whatever you do next, that has to be there off the rip if you want to stand a chance in today's market. Because, again, believe it or not, whatever you drop, I feel like having a community built into your experience is one of the last vestiges of tried and true methods of survival in that level of gaming, in that level of multiplayer in this day and age. If you don't have the community to help you create or recognize creation in some degree, you're kind of already at a setback. If you're not a giant like Call of Duty, I think you're at a disadvantage automatically. So having something where the community can pour into you just as much as you gave them an experience to pour into, that helps you and sets you apart and gives you a lot more lifespan than you could ever imagine. So whatever Halo does, whatever they do, that pillar of community needs to be, like, if it's not the center, it is damn near the center of one of two pillars, that in the gameplay or that in the fidelity, whatever you want. But the community aspect and weaving that into whatever you have, making sure that is ironclad in whatever you develop, that should be one of the top priorities for whatever comes next. But I have hope. I have hope for this. I don't think they're again, Halo's a foregone IP. I think that they're gonna do right by it, and I think with that, if they take those things into consideration, they'll be back close to the top of the mountain where, you know, in my opinion, where they should be. But yeah, we'll see. Damn, the soapbox, man. Listen, I sound like I gotta it's like I'm a part of the program, man. I sound like keys and shit. I feel like
we were not paid off.
Yeah, we were not paid by, you know what I'm saying? It would be nice to be paid, but this segment was not paid for by anybody, gang. I'm sorry. Listen, the USMC didn't sponsor us. I did not get no scholarships from New Mombasa and shit. That was just passion, all right? That was just the heart. It will be nice though. The check will be nice, you know what I'm saying? No cool down. Check the Gmail and shit, you know what I'm saying? Rate us 5 stars while you at it.